Welcome back to the show and the Delaware Horse Expo. Natalie Cabot is with me now, and she works for Blue Seal Feeds. And we're getting a little education today about feeding your horse because, well, they have to eat, right?
They do have to eat, absolutely.
And we want to know, what are the basics for just, if you own a horse, what should you be feeding them? What's important?
Sure. Actually, horses require nutrients. The most important being water. Just like humans, horses have to have water. It should be clean, should be fresh. You should know where the water's coming from. Clean out those buckets every day.
And use your Brita, right?
They make horse Britas now? That'd be awesome.
We should totally patent that idea. That would be awesome.
So we need to put it in the hose at the end. I love it. I'm already thinking about it. You got this. And then they also need protein. They need energy from either fat or hay, carbohydrates. It also comes from grains that we feed, carbohydrates. They have simple, which would be corn, oats, barley. And then you have complex carbohydrates, which is hay, pasture, grasses. They need vitamins. They need minerals, just like us. So you get the vitamins and the minerals from most of your hay. Sometimes you need to supplement. They also need a salt block out there, whether you put it in the stall or have a big 50-pounder that you lug out to the pasture. That's a good way to get the salt into the horse.
Now, what about carrots? Are they like a food group or?
Carrots are used as a treat. They do have a good bit of sugar in it, so if you have a horse that tends to be a little insulin resistant, you might want to lay off the carrots and maybe feed them a handful of hay instead.
Okay, nice to know. Yeah, okay. Now, what about standardbreds? This is a horse racing show, and obviously horses that race are going to need something more or less than horses that are pleasure horses.
Absolutely. Horses that race have a higher energy requirement, and so they usually get fed more. One of the things we tend to see with standardbreds is that they want to tie up, meaning that they have a lactic acid buildup from a lot of starches and sugars, and their muscles tend to clench together. We call it tying up. So to avoid that, you want to feed a higher fat feed, a lower starch feed, and that includes their diet. So check the hay too. We make a lot of products that are low in starch, high in fat for just that reason, to help prevent such issues as tying up.
Yeah, we want to mention the horse behind us. He's here, low maintenance and very, cheap to keep around. Now, I have to ask, how did you get your job? It's so cool that, to meet new people in the business and, people that love horses and so much about, the feeding and everything, which we should all know, right? So how do you get to do what you're doing?
Well, actually, this might surprise you. I grew up as a townie, meaning I grew up in town, no horse experience whatsoever. It wasn't until I was 11 years old I started volunteering for a therapeutic riding program, and then I kind of fell into horses that way. I joined 4-H, I joined Pony Club, and then I went on to school. I went to Penn State University and got my degree in animal science, and then I stayed on, got my master's in ag and extension education. So I kind of fell right into this job because I love to teach people, and I love to talk about horses since it's my passion too.
That is so awesome. So for all you kids out there who are your townie or you haven't been around horses, that's a really great story because a lot of people don't grow up on a farm, have never been around horses, but they can be, with horses.
Follow your passion, and if you want to learn more about it, you will. So
thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.